Yo, welcome back, guys. This is your boy, InsidiousPurple. We are back on another road to Elden Ring. But first, I want to just throw this out there. Hey, if you guys have not applied for the sweepstakes to win one Amazon um, Prime credit card for worth $100, go ahead. The video's on my channel. Go ahead, look at that video to figure out how to enter. Go ahead and go through the steps and figure out how you can do all the entries so that you can have the best chance of winning the Amazon $100 gift card. So make sure you guys get on that. Now back to the show. So as you guys know, From Software, the developers of Elden Ring, they recently had a showcase of their game. So it was about 15 minutes or so, maybe a little less or so. And essentially, they just showed off some of the actual direct gameplay. It's not a trailer. They played through the certain segments of the game. They switched it to different segments just to give us a good feel of the game. So right now, what I want to do on this road to Elden Ring, there's not going to be any Dark Souls playthrough, but I do want to go through some of the things that we saw in Elden Ring to get a pretty much a final overview of what we will get. I did this something similar with the first trailer to Elden Ring in the first Road to Elden Ring video that I did on my channel. So make sure you guys go back, check that out, like, comment, all the good stuff. And essentially, I was basing it off the trailer. Some of the stuff that I said in that video has actually been confirmed in this game. So we're just going to look at some of the stuff. Um, we'll look at some still photos from the actual trailer. I'm not going to play the actual trailer here due to, I don't think there's a copyright thing. I don't think FromSoft is going to strike down my channel for it. I mean, other people have shown the video, but I'm just going to go through some still photos, just so that we can precisely focus on the important stuff. So I'm not going to be focusing on things that we pretty much know that is going to be in there. I'm just going to just throw out some different perspectives on stuff that we kind of speculated about. Okay. So the first photo, of course, it's an open world game. You ride around on your horse. You go to different locations. I thought this image was really interesting. If you can see right there, right next to your horse, a there's actually an animal that's like roaming around, right? So there's going to be animals that are roaming around. I wonder if you can, well, heartlessly, if you want to say, kill the animals. If that's one of the ways that you get they gather certain items, for crafting. This game does have a crafting system, which is incredible. That's something that's new to the Dark Souls series, essentially. You can go through your menu and actually craft different items for different situations, so that's pretty cool. I wonder if you can craft healing items because Dark Souls has always been hard on that. Has always been kind of strict on that ever since like Demon Souls is how much you can actually heal. So I wonder the crafting is probably going to be more towards other items, non-healing items, essentially. Now, in this photo, I thought that was interesting. You can fight enemies. You can fight the dragon on horseback. So it's not like you're just roaming around the field, right, on the plain, and then boop, a dragon swoops in, right, and now all of a sudden you're in a fight with the dragon, which is probably like a pseudo boss fight, right? And and it can just happen at any time at certain points. I wonder if you could just be going anywhere and it happens, or if it's a random encounter, you have to be at a certain place at a certain time, or it's luck based. Maybe like the three legendary dogs in Pokemon, right? You have to get lucky. You have to see the certain area that they're at, and then you have to go to that area and get lucky in the grass and actually find them. I wonder if it will be similar to that. I wonder how they'll go about doing this. Maybe the enemies will always be there, and that'll come to a different point. about when we come to the map here. So I wanted to also come over here to the NPC right here, and apparently this NPC, right, there's gonna be NPC quest, right? You'll be This guy's stuck in the ground, and in the actual game, you get behind him, and then you attack him like 2 or 3 times, and you knock him out of the ground. So essentially, um, there's gonna be NPC quests. There's gonna be NPC quests. There's NPCs that you can talk to, and apparently they're gonna have their own storylines too. From what I can see, they're gonna have their own storylines. There's another NPC that they show in the trailer that I'll talk about. And here we have, I thought this was a really cool look at the overall view of what the overall map might look like for Elden Ring, in that you can actually go to a location in game and just see all the most of the places that you can actually go to in this game. And I thought this was really cool. You see like literally like 3 different castles on the left, center, and right, and we can all just go to those castles, right? And this probably doesn't represent every single area. There's probably some underground areas. We've seen that in trailers too. So there's some areas we probably won't be able to see up above ground. There might be some water-based areas. Who knows? I know. I don't believe that they would go out and show absolutely everything. I would hope not. But now that brings us to this, which is the Overworld Map. So it's a really cool looking map. It's got like some 3D. Um, it's got like a 3D look to it. It's got some shadows on there. Really cool looking map. Looks like it's like a little art piece from 1,000 years ago. Like, it looks cool. So essentially, you'll be able to place markers on the map too. So you have a selection of markers that you can place on the map. So you could probably put it there for treasure. You could probably mark areas off where bosses are at. And this map is probably going to be very important in navigating the world and marking off where you need to go and where you want to go next. Of course, this is something I thought about and I theorized in the first video. It was pretty obvious from the trailer, but there is going to be co-op, right? But in this video, they pretty much confirm it. You can play with your friends. You can do invasions. All of that stuff is going to be in the game. How it's going to be implemented is not quite understood, right? So essentially, in Dark Souls, and all of the Dark Souls games and Bloodborne, when somebody invades your world, it's in a specific isolated world, and you can't really leave that world while you're being invaded. That's how it really worked. In an open world game, I wonder how it's going to work, because there's supposedly supposed to be so much area that you can go to, and it's not supposed to be limited by cliffs, walls and stuff like that. Areas aren't supposed to be cut off like that. So I wonder if you can bring in a co-op and just go anywhere in the world with that co-op. Who knows? That's still not clear. But you can. It did show you walking with your co-op through a forest, right? And you can see on the upper left corner right here, it's very interesting. You have this very, very threatening enemy right here. It was like an ogre, and he's leaning up against a tree. And basically, in the trailer, they said that you would probably want to sneak past this type of enemy because it might be too strong for you to fight. So you can. It really shows that the full functionality of co-op. You might be doing some sneaking missions. You can really traverse these levels in a variety of ways. If you want to go in guns blazing, you can go in guns blazing. If you want to do a sneak mission, you can get some of your friends in. you can go out and do sneak missions. One guy can take one side, another guy can take the other. But I thought this was a pretty interesting concept right here that you might not be strong enough to fight this enemy. And then you come out with your co-op into another area where you have this boss that you're fighting. And it looks like the boss from Sekiro, the one that was on the horse. It fights like him. It looks like him. So it's a knight on a horse. So one thing I'll say, and that I hear a lot, is that FromSoft builds up on their previous game, right? So essentially, they're taking from what they already did and just adding on it and improving on it. So I thought that they really did that here. This is a really menacing boss. You can fight. You go from outside of the forest and you start fighting this boss. So that's what I was asking, if maybe you have to stay within that forest, within that path of going to the forest and going to this boss in order to do co-op. Maybe they'll kick your friend out if you try to go somewhere else. But this just shows also something else I was talking about in my first road to Elden Ring. This magic spell they got new magic spells, of course, but they're really they're really getting creative with the magic spells. Like, this is the spell that looks like the boss fight from Dark Souls 3 when you go to Anne Orlando. The snake guy, he waves his wand in the air, and then you have to run away from all the falling arrows, magic arrows. This looks like that magic spell, except of course a lot weaker. The last thing I could say about the bosses is they look like they have a lot of HP. I don't know if it was because they had a co-op in the game, but it looks like you're going to be hitting on those bosses for quite a while. I hope that it's not that these bosses don't become sponges. And there's another boss that they show in the game as well. So, but I'll save that for later. Right in front of your character, you can see that little shining sprite that's on the ground. That looks like a little diamond or whatever. That's essentially what I could say is a new bonfire. So when the character goes up to it and interacts with it, it sends sparks flying everywhere, right? And it looks pretty much the same thing as the bonfires in the Dark Souls series. And I can only assume and conclude that this is the bonfire version of in Elden Ring. Of course, that's not 100% confirmed. We don't know if it automatically saves when you interact with this device. There was no indication of that. Who knows? It might just open up the area for fast travel or something like that. But still, that would still be similar to the bonfire. It just wouldn't restore all your health and save the game, essentially. Okay, and we had this little maiden. I believe we saw her in one of the trailers. We saw her in the very, very first teaser trailer, right? And that's what she looks like with her hood. This is what she looks like without her hood. So there's a good reason why she's wearing the hood, essentially. I would say, her eye is like damaged. I believe that's her left eye. Looks like she got cut right above her left eye. She seems like very familiar from a lot of characters. Like in Demon Souls, you had the Black Maiden, the one who was at the Nexus, who would level you up. In Dark Souls 2, you had the woman that was at the what you call the new Firelink Shrine, right? She wore a hood as well, so it seems like this is a continuation on the similar format of character, But I'm just saying that this isn't unusual. It's very familiar, and I do wonder what her story is. But I think that she's probably just going to be the person that levels you up. That's typically what I think of when I see a Dark Souls game and I see a woman in a hood. This is a very interesting part of the showcase. Um, and this was closer to the end of it. Essentially, you can choose your way that you want to tackle certain areas. Like I said before, um, you can choose to do it with co-ops, right? And you can. I also wonder if you guys can split up. Like you can go either up through the main gate, or you can go over there to your left through that doorway, and you can go around back. Now, if you go through the main gate, there was enemies that would shoot at you. They would shoot a bunch of arrows at you, and it didn't look like you could get through there without getting killed, unless you had like a lot of HP. I don't know if there's a way to get around that. There might be a spell that allows you to be invisible or something and get through it, or you might be able to snipe them before you go through. But it's just saying that there's different challenges for different ways that you want to enter. There's a guy in there that you can talk to on the left side through that doorway that will offer to allow you to go through a doorway next to him. And it's up to you whether you trust them or not. So, like I said, it seems like they're having a patches like character. I immediately thought patches immediately. So, you know how Dark Souls love patches, right? They had them in Demon Souls. They had them in all the Dark Souls games. So it's not surprising that patches also is a reoccurring theme here. The trickster, tricking you into going through a path that could get you killed. And by the way, I'm not certain what happens after you die. Where you go after you die. You probably go back to the sprite, the last sprite that you unlocked, right? But if you're in an open world and you get killed, and you go a very far distance, like you go from one like dungeon and you run across a field to close to another dungeon, but you get killed before you get there. I wonder if it will reset you all the way back, right? We'll just have to see. Here, I wanted to point this out. I believe I pointed this out in my first road to Elden Ring, and that is that some weapons will have weapon arts. Like some weapons will have spells, weapon arts, which is great that they have actual spells attached to them, something very unique to them. I felt like a lot of the weapons in Dark Souls 1 and 2 were very much the same and were differentiated only by a limited number of special attack animations. So giving them like spells like this or special abilities like this will help differentiate a lot of the weapons out here. As you can see, it summons three little skulls right here, and they attack down on to your enemy, right? That you target. Seems like magic, unfortunately, will require you to use targeting yet again in order to be effective. Um, you have to lock on to them, so I don't think they're gonna give you like a real serious lock on option. Not, not. I'm sorry, like a real serious aim option, like you have with the bow and arrow. You can zoom in, you can aim at stuff. I think that would have been better for Magic overall, but it seems like you still have to rely on that. There was also areas where you could actually summon. They showed off a lot of summoning um, in this showcase here, and apparently summoning is going to be pretty big. You can actually summon enemies to fight fight bosses and distract bosses for you. So I thought that was kind of overpowered a bit. Here, this just shows the verticality of the game. So essentially, you can jump from one ledge to another, and you can use that in order to reach different areas. As you can see in the lower right corner of this picture, there's a little doorway you can go into. So you can go in there and drop down and reach different areas, as opposed to just going the steady path that is already laid out for you as well. So if you keep your eye out while searching these dungeons in these areas, you can probably find secret areas where you can get different treasures and stuff. So just keep an eye out for that. Oh man, and like I said, on the right you can see there's an NPC, and he talks to the character while they're exploring this area. So this is when he goes right through that little doorway. But essentially, the important part is that it seems like this NPC has his own story. He says that he's snuck into this castle, right? This dungeon, right, in order to find something. He asks us why we did it. So I wonder if he could be summoned, if our agendas will be aligned, and we could fight a boss. He could help us fight a boss or something to that extent, or we can do a quest for him and get an item, or it could be like the Onion Knight in Dark Souls One, and eventually you'll get a rare item once you complete his quest story. And of course, on the left you have the typical corpse with an item on it. They're still shinies, by the way. And this shows more of the verticality. You can walk up to a castle wall. You can jump over the castle wall down to the lower level rather than continuing to follow the staircase. I thought this was really interesting. I think that it's really good that you have options here. Of course, this is the other boss. This is like a. It seems like there's not all bosses are the same. This is like a really big boss. I don't think this is an avoidable boss either. Um, this is the boss where they were summoning phantoms in order to help distract him. It didn't seem like the phantoms did much. They got wrecked. They got completely wrecked, right? So they're getting crushed, and then they killed the phantom. And this boss has a crazy move set. He's literally doing the spin-a-rooney. He's jumping around. Uh, he's being he's a very fast and aggressive boss. I thought it was really I thought it was really crazy how quick and how fast this boss was. He has some crazy attacks too. He has a flamethrower dragon head arm that can spit fire and it can do a grab move. So some of the bosses, I say this to say that some of the bosses look to be particularly challenging. That's how it always is in Dark Souls. Some bosses are more challenging than others, in to a drastic degree too. Sometimes, hopefully, most of the bosses are really good in this game, and still, maybe able to maintain that uniqueness. Usually, Dark Souls bosses, they're usually all unique, but there's only one thing that really makes them good. Like being fast, being doing a lot of damage, and having a lot of range as well. So those aspects make a good Dark Souls boss. Well, guys, that's for the most part what I wanted to address in this road to Elden Ring. I wanted to go over that playthrough video. Um, I thought it was really good. I liked what I saw, and for the most part, uh, yeah, I'm definitely hyped for this game. There is one more thing I want to make sure that you guys got to see though, and what this is the release date, right? So, as you guys know, the release date got pushed back. I said that before. It's got pushed back to February, and it's February 25th. It's in range of Horizon Zero Dawn when that releases. So if you're looking forward to both games, make sure you have money saved up so you can get both. And it comes out on PlayStation 4, 5, PC day one, and then Xbox One and Xbox Series X. I'm more than likely going to get it on PC. I am concerned if it will have like some issues on PC, but not that concerned though. Um, Sometimes it could have issues on PC versions, but it's definitely going to be the better version. All right, this has been Insidious Purple. I hope you guys enjoyed this road to Elden Ring. Please like, comment on the video, help out the channel, and we hopefully will be back. I've applied for the beta, haven't heard anything back yet. Hopefully, I'll get a notification that I can join the beta. Hopefully, I get that notification back. I will let you guys know immediately as soon as I do. But until then, this has been Insidious Purple, and I am out. You guys have a good one.